and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog where every loud vehicle on the planet's going to go by today. We have a bird circling in the distance looking for prey. Circling around up there looking for something to swoop on. Anyways, my friends, we're walking today and we're going to do something a little different today. Really not sure how this is going to work out. We have new equipment to try out today, and beautiful day today, much warmer than it was yesterday. It's about 80 degrees. Still not overly humid, so it's very nice, but it's getting warm. And it's going to be warm tomorrow and Sunday as well, in the 80s with sunshine. Still no rain in the immediate future. So anyways, I am going to be using the head cam today because I'm carrying a selfie stick with a new camera. This is the new camera. It has a protective sleeve on it, a condom as it were, to protect the lenses, because it has a lens on both sides and you can record in 360. And my selfie stick here is shot. There is one that's coming for this. It was supposed to deliver today and it didn't, of course, which means tomorrow. So I'm trying to jerry rig something together that will work, and I think this will work. So that should work good enough for the test. So I'm going to put the condom back on until we're ready to use it, because you have to protect those lenses. The lenses are not replaceable, and from what I've seen, they're pretty easy to damage. If you just, without thinking, you put it down on a desk or you put it down on something hard, you could damage the lens, because it sits right on the lens when you put it down. So that's definitely something I will be paying attention to. Hopefully through normal use it will not be damaged. The other thing I was thinking is the weight of this is actually pretty light, and there is a way to mount it on a drone. Now, the drone might not be able to fly with this attached to it, but you could even mount it with Velcro straps. That would be interesting. But I'm not ready to try anything like that yet. Because two bad drone incidents is enough for me. But it is a beautiful day today, and we are going to give this a whirl. And we'll see what we can get out of this. The real issue with this new camera is this is going to be difficult. I'll wait till this motorcycle with the music goes by. Oh my God. So the real issue with the new camera is not the camera itself. Camera's fine. Everything works great. Picture quality is better than I even thought it would be. My problem is going to be editing. It always comes down to editing and what you have for computers that will actually edit. Now I have an iPad Pro 10, which is a really good iPad. It's not cheap, works well. The issue is you have a certain amount of gigabytes to work with for storage space. So you always have to dance around that, and I'm not going to start deleting files that I want to keep just so I can edit video. And I think I have enough gigabytes left on my iPad to edit video to use on my walks mixed in with the GoPro footage. So it's going to take some experimentation, and the biggest issue I'm going to have is the way the software is to edit this. It shoots everything in you have an option. You can set it to shoot widescreen like you're looking at with the GoPro, and you can choose the other lens to shoot the same way. So you can choose one or the other, flip them around, and have a regular widescreen view. Now when you go to edit it, you can choose de-warp, which takes the bend in trees. When the widescreen does that, it takes the bend out of it, but it brings the picture closer. So you can edit it that way. But let's say, for example, I'm filming out like this, and I want to get a 360. So a 360 will film over my head, behind me, down in front of me, and ahead of me. A full 360 circle. Now, if I want to use this to record an entire walk, well, you have to choose what angle you're going to watch when you edit. Now, theoretically, I can choose walking from here to that stop sign up ahead, showing a frontal of me head to toe walking. And then when I get in front of me, I want to tell it to turn around and film in front of me. And then while I'm walking, I want to change it again and look overhead. So to do just those three things, I have to manually go into the video in the editor, and I have to tell it at what point to start doing that, then set the duration. I can also put a point of reference, because you have to remember it records a 360 sphere. I can choose anything it records in that 360. So I have to manually tell it what I want. There's nothing automatic on this. There's a point of reference. Once you have the video recorded, you can do anything you want with it, but it takes time. And when you do a daily walking vlog, it's going to take way too much time to do an entire walk, unless I choose just widescreen with one focal point, which is no different than the GoPro that's on my head. So that doesn't solve anything there. But if I take certain things that happen on the walk and record it with this, and then edit what I want it to show. Perfect example would be as if I had it like this, and I'm talking to it, and then a car accident happens at that stop sign, this will record it even though I was pointing it at me. So then after I edit it at home, I can choose the car accident. So this is going to be much more useful at the shooting range. Now at the shooting range, I'm going to be able to do a ton of good stuff with this. Just simple things like you're pointing a gun like this and shooting while you're holding the selfie stick. Now we have seen Mix Up 98 online kind of hold the selfie stick, and then he would point like this with a gun and record from behind him shooting. So you can get camera angles like that, but you have to concentrate on what you're filming while you're shooting. Not going to have to do that with this. With this, just turn it on, start recording. Doesn't matter if you hold it up here, if you hold it down here, if you hold it over here. It's going to record 360 no matter what. The only difference will be is how far away the 360 is. So then you can go ahead and choose, and this will be a lot safer at the range too, because now you don't have to think about what you're filming. You can just shoot at something. I could hold this right here and shoot like this. See what I mean? So the camera won't even be in the shot. I could actually hold this here while I'm shooting, and we can get a side view of the gun while it's firing, without having to come up alongside somebody and say, hold on, wait a minute, I'm recording now, and getting my camera angle. I can just turn this on and record. So for my walks like this isn't going to be very practical, but still useful, because I can splice in video clips. But at the range, this will be constantly one of the best tools. That's actually better than a lot of other gun channels are using, because I'm not seeing anybody else except for a couple of people. And I don't even remember which ones they were. But I'm gonna have to loosen my left sneaker. It's too tight. It's causing that pain in the arch of my foot. Not on the inner arch, on the top of the arch. Actually where my arch connects to my ankle. On the back part of it. The back part of my arch, not my ankle. So, it'll take a second. So I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. It will be an extremely useful tool if you understand what 360 is. If you don't, then you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll pick a spot up ahead where I can shoot video without being gawked at by people. That's a pet peeve of mine. It's really annoying. They wonder, what's he doing? Is he streaming live? Why is he talking to himself? So anyway, for the gun range, this is going to be invaluable. It will be absolutely stunningly awesome because the video clips will be a lot shorter, and most of the time, pretty much all of my range videos for gun range stuff is between 10 and 20 minutes, usually around 20. So 20 minutes, I noticed I recorded in 5.7K earlier, 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes was half a gigabyte. That's big. If you can imagine an hour and a half walk, you know, we're talking file sizes that would take days to edit. Unless I choose the 4K setting with maybe a 30 frame rate or 60. The lowest I can go is 4K. I think the frame rate is 25, I think is the lowest, or 24. I think it's 25, which will actually be good for night viewing, I think, because you want to slow the shutter speed down for nighttime and capture more light. And with the AI stability, everything with this camera is done with the software, with the firmware. The camera just records the video. There's no settings on the camera for stabilizing. There's no setting on the camera for aspect ratio. You just have 3 settings for your video. Widescreen 1, which is one of the lenses. Widescreen 2, which is the lens on the other side. And 360, which is both lenses stitched together. Everything else is done in the app. Whether you want to have 16:9 widescreen, 1:1 ratio square for like Instagram, Facebook, 4:3 like the screen on old TV sets, that aspect ratio width. Or you can have linear, which looks okay. What you're watching right now on GoPro's linear. It's a widescreen, but with the linear setting, it chops 10% of the picture off, so you don't get any bent telephone poles and things like that. So when you're editing, you can choose all that. You can choose something called de-warp. De-warp makes it look like a regular cell phone video, and you select what you're looking at out of the 360 sphere. So if I'm recording 360, walking ahead like this, I can choose in editing to, because I would have this out here like this while I was recording, I could choose to have it frontal looking at me, or I could change the angle while I'm recording ahead. I can choose angle to the side or behind, on the ground, or straight up like that, just leaving the camera in one place. So that's the added benefit. They also have different filters to make it look like, well, I'm gonna head down this way here because we get a nice view of the countryside here with some mountains. The ticks have gone away for now. I don't know what the birds are eating because everything is dried up. So they get this thing here blocked off. But we're gonna walk over here. Now, earlier when you used to come with me on this walk, they had a whole bunch of things that looked like railroad ties here that they stacked up and moved somewhere else. And they lay those down so they can put the heavy equipment on there. Bulldozers and backhoes, front hose, side hose. Got to keep the hose hoeing. And we should run into my pigs over here somewhere if they're out today. And get some piggly wigglies. And whenever I'm carrying extra stuff with me, I always get nervous because the last thing I want to do is be a mile or two up the road and go, oh crap, the camera fell off. Now I gotta go back and get it. I'm starting to smell the pigs. Where are they? I don't know if I'll be able to get there with all this overgrowth. Yeah, pig pen's in there. All this overgrowth, I can't get in there. That's all right. This fall, when it gets cold, oh, look at that view. And you know, that's the other thing with the GoPro. It's really beautiful for this setting, but you don't have that three-dimension kind of look. And those hills right there look miles further away when you watch it back than they are in person. And again, that's something else I can change in the GoPro. But for my walks, then everything's too close. And it's like you can never find anything that does everything. You have to compromise. So right now, I'm going to shoot some video in 4K, 60 frame rate, instead of 5.7, which is a better picture quality with this new camera. But I'm going to shoot some in 4K because I already know that there are some compatibility issues with older operating systems. My MacBook is a 2015. It has operating system 11.7.1, I think. An example of that would be it hasn't upgraded to iOS 12 yet for the MacBook because it is an older operating system and older equipment. And like, for example, the Chrome browser keeps giving me a reminder that it is now optimized for 12 or higher, and I can't upgrade it to 12. It won't let me. So I think I have the highest operating system I can use on my current MacBook, you know, which is unfortunate because, you know, it was a $1,700 laptop, and you know, it's a 2015. It's 10 years old already. I understand that, but it's still running fine. Everything works great. But 5.7K is a video codec that I don't think it has, and I don't want to find out today that it doesn't, because I want video I can edit. And I do know that 4K will run on that. 4K and 5.7 does not work on my Samsung Galaxy phone unless I get the codec for it, which they usually try to sell that to you. So everybody's selling something to you that you should have already, and there are workarounds, so we'll figure it out. But as you can see, this is a beautiful day. I took the condom off. I took the condom off our new camera, so it's firing up right now. The other knock I have seen in reviews is that the screen is dim. Well, let's try this again. There we go. See, now I have sunglasses that are coated for certain UV rays, and the screen looks completely black to me even though it's not black. So I have to take my sunglasses off to actually use this camera. So that's interesting. So now, like I said, you'll see it looks like a regular cell phone, vertical instead of horizontal, but you can actually crop out a horizontal picture in editing. So everything records like this. So that's what I'm going to do for today anyway, till I experiment with it more. So right now we're going to click record. See, I'm used to doing this with the camera, so I'm going to start over here and pan. You know, I don't have to do that with this. I can just start recording. So right now it's recording in 4K. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it right here. This seemed to be a really good spot. And the other thing it does is when you play that back, the selfie stick will disappear, thankfully, because this is god-awful ugly. Because you have two halves of a sphere. Picture a bowl over the top and a bowl underneath. They meet in the middle, and the spot where it stitches together omits the selfie stick. So when this plays back, it's going to look like I'm holding my hand out and there's nothing in my hand. So now I'm just holding my hand out here like a retard for no reason. So we have a bird circling over there. I could actually spin this around to that bird that's circling and zoom on it. So we'll try that out. So I'm just recording a short clip just for a test. Stabilization on this is excellent. When walking, everything is ultra smooth. And that is because of the computer software. The video on the phone itself, this is actually moving a little bit. It actually stabilizes very good on its own without any help, but as soon as you stabilize it in the app, it's smooth like butter. So I just wanted to walk down here and get some video, show you guys what this looks like. And trust me, by the time this is edited and you get to see it, it's going to be nowhere good as it looks on my iPad, unfortunately. Now I also have iMovie on my iPad, and I use iMovie on my MacBook. So the problem I've always had is I need at least 150 gigabytes of free space to edit my walks. I may actually start editing my walks on my iPad if I can get the micro SD card to my iPad. And you see, this is always where the problems happen. Now there's an adapter you can buy to plug an SD card into my iPad. And this is why this stuff is always annoying, because to get from point A to point B, you have to jump through many hoops. And then after I rip the video, because I don't want to take 10 years to upload it to YouTube, I upload in 1080p. So you have this beautiful, beautiful picture quality of 4K I mean, and 5.7K. Some people record up to 8K and they upload in 8K. But boy, mustn't that be nice. That must take terabytes of drive space to do that, and a processor that doesn't take 10 years. So basically, there are workarounds, but they all take time. And when you do a daily walk, well, that's not going to work. But for range video, once a weekend, absolutely we'll be able to get stunning video, good quality, it'll be nice. So I think this will be more practical to use on range day videos. Almost like 80% more practical, because you can do anything with this. You don't have to, it doesn't matter so much where you mount it. Theoretically, you could mount it to a head thing like I'm using for the GoPro, with an extension that goes up about 8 inches. Then you would have the camera sticking up 8 inches above your head while you're at the range. And then you can choose whatever footage you wanted from that. So if I'm standing there shooting at the Pew Pew puddle, for example, which is the puddle, and we're shooting shotguns, and my two brothers and sister-in-law or whoever else came with us, as I just almost tripped and fell on my face on a branch that caught up between my legs, and maybe something funny happened while I was shooting and I missed it because I was shooting. Well, the 360 is going to record it, and then I can edit that into the video. So you see what I'm saying with that? So this opens up a whole brand new, much better than using the GoPro for range day, especially. For walking like this, I think the GoPro is going to be sufficient for most of it, and we can insert some of this video. Here and there, just to spice things up a little bit. So right now, I'm going to hang a left. I'm going to so like right now with the GoPro, I have to look left and right, left again, to get footage. But with this, I can just leave it right where it is. I don't have to do any of that. I can do all my looking around at home afterwards. So I'm going to record this little segment here, and I can tell when I'm recording because the blue light is flashing. It tells me it's recording, which it is. And again, right now I'm doing 4K because I know iMovie will handle that, and it's also a smaller file size than 5.7 by almost half. So I guess the picture quality will be half as good as the 5.7. I'll get used to what I'm going to use as we go along, as I get used to the software and things like that. The memory card that came with this camera is 512 gigabytes. I don't know how much recording I can do on that. I do know that 3.5 minutes and 5.7 was half a gigabyte. So I'm going to turn this off right now. Yep, so when I'm wearing the sunglasses, because it's coated to protect your eyes, the screen is completely black and I can't see anything. So that's interesting. So we'll see how that video clip looks. We'll see what I can do with it. Now I know my brother, when he watches videos, he doesn't like to see trees bend and stuff like that. And I can take that out with this, but it also takes away about 40% of the picture of what you're looking at. So I'll decide what looks better later. It's got to have a little bit of that 360 look to it to see everything, I guess is what I'm getting at. A lot of people, you know, it doesn't really matter too much to them. I prefer how it looks without the trees bending also, which is good for wood trails with the GoPro. But like when we have that bird circling and we have those mountains in the background, beautiful sunny day like today, I'm guessing that's going to look pretty good with the widescreen super wide. What I'm really impressed with this camera, more than anything, is how stable the picture is. Even with a GoPro while I'm walking, things up close, like this branch right here when I'm walking, see how it goes up and down? The closer things are to you, they do this, the further away it's stable. And your human eyes do that too. You just don't notice it. You're going to notice it now that I said it, that when you're walking, the things closest to you go up and down. Just you never notice them because you're not looking at that. If you look ahead and use your peripheral to see what you're walking by, you'll see this mailbox going up and down like this. So, while some people look at the GoPro and say, and I've seen them do it, they complain about that. It's like, well, they duplicated what you have for eyeballs, so I don't know what to tell you. With this, the stabilization is so smooth with the AI that everything is stable. Close, far, doesn't matter. And you can also choose how much intensity that has, because it gets to the point where it over stabilizes it to the point where it literally looks like you're watching a video game. You know what I mean? When you're playing a racing game and the vehicle on the screen is like ultra smooth. It still does this, it still does that, but it's not realistic. And that's what the stabilizing on this does if you have it on the super duper. But that actually looks good when you have the camera mounted on a motorcycle, because it takes the vibration away from the engine. It takes the road noise away, the vibrations. And when you get a dirt bike that's constantly doing this over things, it smooths everything out nicely. Looks very professional. So the settings on this depend on what you're using it for. Now, a good example of that would be if we were at the range and I wanted to get a shot of casings coming out of the gun. I could hold this and record it somewhere and get that angle to the side where I'm shooting, and I can have the frame rate at 24 or 25, and that is a very slow frame rate. So what that means is the shutter opens, the theoretical one, it doesn't actually have a shutter, but the electronic shutter, like an old-fashioned camera, will stay open longer for more exposure. So you actually will get kind of a streaky effect if that's what you want. You could actually see the shell casings leave a trail coming out of the gun, or you could speed up the frame rate for a very fast shutter speed, and because it clicks so quick, there's no blur, and you can actually get very clear crystal shots of a casing coming out of a firearm. So there's going to be all kinds of different things you can use, and you know, I'm just thinking of the possibilities while I'm walking right now, and it's like, wow, this is going to be really cool. And I also noticed from a couple of videos I watched that if you want to mount something like this to a drone, The drone we have is probably too small. I don't think it would be strong enough. But if you have it on top of the drone, you're going to get the propellers in the shot. So while you're filming, you see the propellers spinning. And that's annoying. So the best thing to do is to hang it from the bottom of the drone. Which means you have to launch the drone out of your hand instead of off the ground. But that can be done. And this camera, I think, may be light enough. Maybe. I do have a gizmo that's made to wrap around a cell phone and clamp on that came with one of our accessory kits we have. I may be able to rig something to hold the camera underneath the drone. And if it's balanced in the middle of the drone properly weight-wise, you won't have it tipping forward or backwards. It'll stay steady, but it might take more effort to fly. But we're also not going to fly up 400 feet in the air with it either. So if the best we can do is 12 feet, well, that's still going to be really good video, I think, especially with this camera, because you got the 360. And the stabilization, you'd have all of it. You'd have the whole package. So up ahead here, I'm going to shoot another video clip with the new camera. I might, I think what I'll do is I'll remember to take my and we were just recording in 60. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually I won't notice that. So I will shoot a clip up ahead in 5.7K just to see what we can get out of it. And then I will shoot a clip, a backup clip in 4K, just in case my computer doesn't want to do anything with 5.7. So I didn't get a chance to test it yet, and I don't want to ruin my walk today by having a section of it that I can't use. So that's always what it comes down to. You get this really cool technology, and then you have the compatibility issue between Windows, Android, Apple operating system. You know, I got a Samsung Galaxy phone. It's not compatible with anything for Apple. It's all Google. It's all Google stuff. And all the Google stuff is good. Problem is compatibility. Then you have mobile devices, you know? You should just be able to plug and play everything together and everybody can use everything instead of having all these hoops. So my iPad, I can use AirDrop. I can send my files magically through the air to my laptop. But if you've ever tried that with 60 gigabytes, well, I hope you have all day. And hope that it keeps the connection before it's done, because if you lose connection with your Wi-Fi, guess what? You got to start all over again. So you got something that takes 2 hours to transfer, an hour and 15 minutes into it, you lose your connection to your Wi-Fi. So you got to do it all over again and hope it works. So 6 hours later, you finally get it over, and then now you get 2 more hours of editing, and you know, now it's turning into a daily friggin' headache. So I already know I'm not going to bother with that stuff. But for range day, it's not a problem, because I can take the mini SD card out of this after I edit video, or I can shoot a 10-minute clip, edit the video, and then shoot it over with AirDrop to my laptop. So I can do range day video that way. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to do an entire walk with this. I am absolutely confident in that. Not without a $5,000 computer, supercomputer like the ones they have now, with ultra fast processors and internet speeds we don't even have yet here in Maine. So can only do with what you got, but we can do it, I guess is my point. This is really going to kick up the gun channel a few notches, not just a notch, I mean a few notches. Because the other thing with this, from what little I tested, the audio seems very good. Now, even with the GoPro and most other things I've used, if you don't use a remote microphone that's wireless via Bluetooth, or you clip it onto your shirt or your hat, or you clip it somewhere near where your mouth is, when you hold the camera out here, your voice goes away. But with this, it has two microphones. It has good wind canceling, better than GoPros, from what I've noticed. I tested it by blowing into it. So right now I'm going to record another test clip. I'm going to leave the GoPro on my head on recording in case I don't get the footage I thought I was going to get. But I think we'll be good. This will be a good stretch. I'm going to take my sunglasses off so I can actually see the screen. As weird as that is. So now we are recording. You can see what I'm looking at. And I don't have to turn it like this. It's recording in a 360 sphere like a planet. So I'm going to put this out here like this in front of me while I'm walking. And let people wonder what the hell I'm doing. What's that guy doing with that? Why does he have that stick? What is that? What is that gizmo on the end of his stick? So I gotta watch what I'm recording. I gotta watch traffic. I gotta watch not stepping in potholes off the side of the road and breaking my ankle. So there's a little more involved when you're carrying a camera. And I get used to that with the GoPro. So this is basically the same thing. And it's actually easier because I don't have to worry about where I'm holding it. Now if I hold this way out here, the stick will disappear. And you should see me from head to toe. And when I have this level like this, I look like a normal human, I noticed. And when I raise it up like this, my head gets bigger than my feet, and I look like a cartoon, sort of. So I got to learn the best ways to use this, but we're recording another segment here. I have it extended about almost 3 feet. The one that's coming in the mail, which will probably show up tomorrow, is 44.9 inches extended, which I think would be more like this. They have some that are very long, really extend out there, but this is plenty. So anyway, this is what I look like when I'm walking, head to toe. How you doing? Always nice to have new toys to play with. Sweating pretty good right now. I'm guessing it's about 80 degrees. Starting to cool off a little bit because the shadows are getting long. I hear a car coming up ahead there somewhere. So there's been a few times where I'm walking and I'll see a deer and I won't get a good shot of it with the GoPro. But this camera here, I think, would get a good shot of it. The other thing that was a negative about this wasn't about the camera, it was about the software. Is if I set it, there's a thing in the software where I put a green dot on me and I open a green doorway. And then in the 360 sphere, the image will stay on what I told it to. But when you do that, it has to play it back and edit that into the video. And unfortunately, it does that slower than what it was recorded. So if you have 4 minutes of video you have to do that to, it's going to take you about 16 to 20 minutes to do just that. So that I didn't like. I'll see if there's a way around that or not, but we'll see. Now the other thing is I recorded this whole stretch of video just now, but I don't have to use it every time. I don't have to stop it up ahead and say, okay, here I'm going to change an angle. I was thinking about that. I could just make a 1-minute clip with this view that you're looking at, and then do another minute from this video with a different view. And then I could just edit them all together. Instead of having one 4-minute file, I could have 4 1-minute files. And all of those 1-minute files, there's something different to look at. So I think that would save a lot of time in editing. It would be interesting to watch. So I think I will do that. So right now I'm going to go back to the GoPro. I can get this to, there we go, shutter stop. There we go. Now I'm getting used to the buttons. Turn this off. Good to put the widow condom on the camera. We're going to protect the camera. So whenever I use this camera, I have to take these sunglasses off or use a different pair of sunglasses. These have a special coating on them, kind of like that stuff you buy to protect the bad, what is it, blue light, I think it is, like from a computer screen. You can get reading glasses to protect your eyes when using an iPad. It's coated with that kind of thing. So a different pair of sunglasses would probably work better for this than the ones I'm wearing. Well, anyway, I think that's enough camera talk. John Bolton, oh my God. Trump hating, Trump derangement syndrome infected son of a bitch has annoyed Trump and everybody else. He was one of the first people that turned on Trump in his first term and really pissed him off, which it should, because John Bolton was one of the people really promoting the Russia collusion thing, making his rounds on the news networks. Remember that? Well, the FBI raided his home looking for classified documents. Now, you have to get a warrant to do that, okay? So the media already is, oh, this is retribution by Trump, he's paying him back. Well, I'll tell you the same thing they said to Trump when that happened to him. If he didn't do anything wrong, he's got nothing to worry about, does he? No one is above the law. Right? Isn't that what they said? So John friggin' Bolton had his home raided. I did not see when they did it. So I'm going to record this segment here with this camera and the GoPro. I'll decide which one I use. So, John Bolton, I noticed when they raided his home, they did not do like they did for Roger Stone, with full tack gear, assault weapons. They just did a normal raid, which was good. I'm glad they did that. The media tried to make it more dramatic. And you know, it's like, it's one of those things where it really pisses you off, because do these people think we forgot what Biden's DOJ did? Biden's DOJ hated Trump. That was the problem with that. So even if Biden says, well, I had nothing to do with that, even if he says that, which I'm sure he didn't have anything to do with it, Merrick Garland was a son of a bitch. He was the Attorney General, head of the DOJ. The FBI works for the DOJ. They answer to Pam Bondi. So, if Trump tells Pam Bondi we need to make these people pay, her responsibility is, if they did something wrong, we will know. And we will do something about it, which is what she's doing. So, nobody's above the law. No one is above the law. John Bolton said that a million times. I'm sure there's a ton of clips of him saying it. But what the media is not going to tell people, and they should, is that if they did a raid, there was sufficient evidence presented to a judge for a warrant. The problem that the DOJ had under Biden is a lot of times they made up exaggerated or fabricated evidence to get those warrants. Specifically, the FISA court with the Russia collusion hoax. So, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But I can tell you that I had told you that if Pam Bondi was going to do anything, she would have the evidence to back it up. And this warrant will become available to the public at some point. So there isn't going to be any hiding anything. So there's no way this is just being done as retribution. I'm the president, I'm going to have my DOJ go after Bolton. It's not how that works. What happened with Trump was we had judges who hated Trump. The FISA court was very excited because it was Trump. And a lot of people did things they normally wouldn't do because it was Trump. That includes Brennan, Clapper, Susan Rice. Now Susan Rice, she's been running her mouth lately with this stuff. And these people had better understand that Trump is not fucking around. So going on these news networks and running your mouth, hopefully you're doing it with legal counsel, because whatever you say literally could send you to jail for 30 years. So these people need to, what's the best advice an attorney gives their client when talking to anyone? What is that? Oh yeah, shut the fuck up. A good lawyer will tell you to shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. It's pretty simple. You don't know what kind of angle is going to come at you in court later, and you're on TV running your mouth. Well, what did you mean by that? So, police show up at your house with a warrant. You let them in and take what they're going to take, because they're going to take it anyway. There's not one single thing you can tell them that's going to stop them. They've already gone to a judge, and legally they can come in your house and take what they came, but they can only take and look through what's pertinent to what's in the warrant. So I don't know how that equates to the FBI going through Melania's underwear, but they did. They're not supposed to do that. Can only be there for what the warrant says. So I don't know if Melania Trump was hiding classified documents in her panties in a drawer, but apparently they suspected as much. So anyway, I'll turn this off now. There we go. Turn this off. Put the condom back on. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of footage I just got. And it's a lot easier when you don't have to worry about what kind of footage you got. Because, you know, you can record with it here, you can record with it up here. I think what matters is where the two spheres meet and what's in the middle. That is something I noticed earlier. And you can control how much or how little stitching it does also. I think I can set this where you can actually see the selfie stick if you want to also. So it's very interesting. I like technology. They just need to make it easier to actually use it for practical purposes. Most people, when they use digital stuff to record video, it's about a minute or less. They'll record themselves cooking something on the stove and post it on social media. You know, 720p. It doesn't have to be the best quality, but I gotta have something that looks good at 1080p at least. I'm not doing no 720p. Ooh, look at this. Vinyl records. Oh no, it's a road atlas map. 2012, Canada, United States, and Mexico. Look at this. Road atlas map 2015. Let's check this out. Yeah, look at this. You know, all these maps in different states. Hawaii, Iowa, Louisiana. It's got all the highways. Let's see, 2015. Cuisinart can opener. Wow. Well, look at that. A road atlas map. Oh, I'm going to take one of these. I'm not going to take both. And you see this thing here is a walker. And there's a stepper exerciser here on the side of the road. So, and a can opener, electric can opener. So you know what that says to me? That says to me, there was an old person here trying to stay in shape, walking. They used a walker, and they had an electric can opener because they couldn't open cans by hand anymore. And now they get a sign that says free. So I am willing to bet that somebody either passed away or they're now in a home. So I'm going to take the newest map book, which is 2015. Or is it this one? What year is this one? Because when shit hits the fan, okay, resuming walk. Now, I am taking one of these styrofoam containers. I wish I could take both, but I'm going to take one of them because you fill these up with water and you shoot them, and they put on a good show. All right. So I found a chute cycling container that I have to admit is very cumbersome to carry, especially today with this new camera. But I'm gonna do it. Because chute cycling is fun. Actually, you know what? I'm already carrying it. I really don't want to carry it. I might dump it in this trash can up here. It's not worth carrying all the way back. It's not much bigger than a gallon jug. So I'm gonna put it in there. I am gonna keep the hard copy of road maps though, because like I was saying before the battery died, is if the shit hits the fan, okay, right, if the shit hits the fan, you're not going to have GPS, and you cannot get road maps anymore. I have a road map of the state of Maine, but I don't have a United States map. And this has maps in every state. So hopefully it will never be useful, but if it is, it's one of those things you'll be damn glad to have it. I got one more spot up ahead. I'm going to try the new camera on. And I figure between all of these shots, I ought to be able to have something good and usable. We have some crows in the distance. Yeah, so what I was saying is John Bolton, before we stumbled upon a box of free stuff, is John Bolton, if I can tell you right now, if Kash Patel raided his home, I'm pretty sure they found what they were looking for. Now, John Bolton had his security clearance revoked by Trump, if you remember. So he should not have any classified information. He's not entitled to have it. And if he kept it, that's a crime. So a lot of people were saying, well, geez, John Bolton's a very smart lawyer. He's very competent. And I'm like, well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's arrogant. Maybe he's like that attorney general in Maryland. You can't arrest me, I'm an AG. So he might believe, well, you know, I used to be a national security advisor, and I've been in a couple of White Houses. You know, maybe the law doesn't apply to me. Joe Biden had classified documents in his garage. Nothing happened to him. So Bolton's like, well, you know, probably nothing will happen to me. Doesn't happen to other people. So there you have it. That's another FAFO. Fuck around and find out. So if they went in with a warrant and got what they needed, chances are they found what they were looking for. I'm sure we will get more details on that. John Bolton, I can tell you, is not going to be the only one that happens to. Trump is going to make his rounds, and all of these people are going to get charged, and they're going to go to jail for what they accused Trump of doing. Because they were, you know, like everything with the damn Democrats. They are everything they accuse you of. Everything. They're the bigots. They're the racists. They're the ones that break security protocols. They're the ones that bend the rules. They cheat. They steal anything for power. They're the ones that do that. And excuse me while Republicans are tired of being the butt of that, and we fight back. So so this is all very interesting, I think. I think so anyways. Told you we're going to see a lot of stuff. It's going to happen fast. I just said that last week or earlier this week. I think it was earlier this week I said that. We're going to see a lot of stuff happen, and it's going to happen quickly. Don't be surprised if next week or the week after John Brennan's next, Clapper, maybe even Susan Rice, because she did something illegal covering up what they did that was illegal. She sent that email in her last day in her office to make it look like they were excusing the Russia collusion hoax. She sent an email to herself. Like it's some kind of exoneration. These people never thought Trump was going to get back in the White House. They never thought a Pam Bondi was going to be an AG. They never thought a Kash Patel was going to be the head of the FBI. Kash Patel cares. He's been a lifelong law enforcement officer. He's had a very good career. He's a good guy. And now he's the head of the FBI. He's also a very good lawyer. So we have a lot of good people that are loyal to Trump, and they're not going to screw him over. They're not going to do things for him illegal either. The media would like you to think that, but we got these motorcycles out here and a bicycle. Looks like a for sale. Yeah, it's got a for sale sign on one of those. And look at those white boxes down in the back there. Those are beehives. Those are beehives. So it looks like they're doing some remodeling. So I want to try to get take the condom off the camera. So we're going to record walking through here. Five, six, and some turkeys there. This will be a good test. See if we get the turkeys in the shot. With the naked eye here, I just see their head sticking out, but with this up there, we will probably get a decent shot. Disturb them too much. Turkeys in the straw. Turkeys in the straw. Turkeys I was just looking at, I don't even see them right now. Car coming. Let's scoot off to the side here. Oh, looks like a squirrel got squished. Somebody pinched a squirrel. Oh, Chippy didn't make it. going across the road to get his free pile of food to eat, and he got smooshed. Smooshed. So this should be a good shot through here. Car coming, scoot off to the side here. All right. Poor thing. Sorry about that. I had to put the dragonfly out of its misery. It was sitting in the road, unable to fly, and it's just twitching. So I don't know if it got hit by a car or what, but I didn't want to see the dragonfly suffer, so I smooshed it. Well, come up to the end of this walk, about a half mile up ahead, and then I will fidget around with seeing what a quick, easy way to edit will be. Whatever that is. Car coming, scoot off to the side. Diesel. Then what I'll do is, when I have this video from the new camera on a drive, then I can see what size the files are compared to the time, and see what kind of quality I can output, because I can output 720p. I can output I think it's 2.7K, something like that. Which I think is about what Blu-ray is. Not sure. So it's all going to depend on file sizes. File sizes. And we'll see how big those files are. And like I said, we can output different qualities also. So by the time you guys get to see the new video footage, it is not going to look as good as it does on the iPad. To me, 5.7K looks so friggin' awesome. Yeah, especially on a 2 million pixel screen. By the time you upload it and YouTube compresses it, they compress the hell out of it. Now you guys watch my walks and you say, oh yeah, this looks great. Well, it looks half as good as it does with the raw footage, I guess is what I'm saying. I get to see what it looks like before editing. So, and that's with the GoPro. Now on the GoPro, I can record in 4K, but I don't because of file sizes. I record in 1080p and it still looks good. 4K looks much better, especially at night. Makes a much better picture quality at night, but it will literally take 6 to 8 hours to edit the stuff. Now, if it was a trip, a once a month trip, you know, once a month you go to the mountain ranges somewhere, paragliding, or take a boat on a lake, you know, then you would record in a really good quality, and the extra time it takes would then be worth it. But when you're walking every day and uploading it, that's a whole different thing altogether. So as it is right now, that is 1.5 to 2 hours for the walk itself, to do my 5 or 6 miles. Then you got to take a shower. Just takes 20 minutes, no big deal, right? Then you got to edit the video. I have it down to about 2 hours right now, sometimes 3. And that's with using smaller file sizes. That includes getting it from the SD card into iMovie, editing my walk, and I don't really do any edits for my walk. So most of the time you get my walk beginning to end with no fancy editing. Now I'm introducing fancy editing. So we'll see how much time that adds. But going to the range on the weekend is once every weekend, or sometimes every 2 weekends. Most of the time, well, depending on the weather, but it's every weekend. So that will not be a problem with editing, because the videos are much shorter. I think the longest range video I shot was 25 minutes. That's all edited. So shoot a whole bunch of video that you're never going to need. It's always good to have more video than you need. And you know, sometimes I would like to leave cool video that I shot in the video, but you know, then the range day video turns into 40 minutes, 50 minutes. People just don't watch that long. So I edit to just the shooting and talking about what I'm shooting, and call it good. Most gun channel videos are 20 minutes or less. The ones that get the most views and the most hits are about 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. And the click-through rate, according to analytics, most people only watch less than the first 5 minutes of a video before they get impatient and they skip through it. There really isn't any kind of video that you can upload where somebody's actually going to sit there faithfully and watch the whole thing. Now, I have a small handful of people that do that with my walking videos. I don't know why you guys do that. There must be something wrong with you. But I'm very grateful. Thank you. So a couple of you that watch, like the guy out in Los Angeles that just retired from working in retail, you know, everything that you see on my walks you don't see in person. You don't have any trees like this, you don't have any weather like this, and so that makes me good, feel good that you tune into mine and watch me walk in the winter time or go through the woods when there's snow and ask me questions that, you know, people around here would think is ridiculous. Like, how do they get the snow off the sidewalks for you to walk on it? Now, everybody that lives here knows how they do that, so it seems like a question that's kind of ridiculous. But if you've never seen that and you don't know how, it's not a ridiculous question, is it? So I was happy to talk about that with you. So personally, I'd like to see them clean the snow and ice off the sidewalks using a flamethrower. I think that would be a fun job. But nothing that extravagant. Most of the work is done by the sunlight on asphalt after they've plowed the snow aside or shot it through a chute to the side. So anyways, I appreciate people watching. I really do. And I think I'm going to sign off using the new camera. So I'm making shorter clips during this walk to insert here and there is what I'm doing. So we'll see how that works out. So I'm going to take the condom off the camera, turn it on, slip my glasses down so I can see the screen, and my glasses back, and here we are, my friends. Losing my earpiece because I'm sweating. Stay on there. So my friends, if you like what you see on here and you enjoy my walks, click like and subscribe, share the content, say a prayer for Trump and the country. And I'll tell you right now, I've said it a million times, until people go to jail, nothing will ever change. And it looks like we're going to start getting people locked up that deserve it, that actually committed crimes. The same people that said Trump was a criminal are actually the criminals. So this has been a long time coming. Pam Bondi is a good choice. A lot of you didn't like how she handled the Epstein thing. I told you guys, don't worry about it. She's good. She's loyal to Trump. And the biggest problem Trump has had since being president has been finding an AG that he can rely on. Bill Barr comes to mind. And what's his face from Louisiana there? Jesse, I don't even remember his name. Don't remember his name. He's been out of the picture for so long. I see his face, but it was Jesse something or other. Anyway, former senator. He was not very good. He wasn't strong. He didn't have a spine. Bill Barr was ridiculous. And so Bill Barr is getting called to testify with the Epstein stuff because he was the AG when Trump in his first term. And the Democrats want to find out if he's covering for Trump. That's all they care about. But it should be interesting to see what he has to say, because I've been curious about that myself. You have to remember, Epstein died when he was the head of the DOJ. That was his responsibility, and Epstein died or was killed or committed suicide, whatever version of it you believe. And that was on his watch. And there's a lot of questions people have about time missing in video, things like that. So anyways, we'll see you on the next walk. Thank you very much for walking with me. God bless you and America, and we will see you soon.